Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a pleasure to be here in Qingdao today, an ideal place to host such a forum, given its rich maritime heritage and the importance it places on a sustainable blue economy. I would like also to thank the organizers for the opportunity to present my views and perspectives on the investment potential of the blue economy. Respecting the time slot and the fact that to avoid repetition with previous speakers, I will concentrate on policy developments and recommendations, skipping a number of slides. So, I personally see four important pillars in unlocking the potential, or the investment potential of blue economy. Is the strengthening of the regulatory framework, the strengthening of international cooperation, fostering investments from private and public sector, and building a new mindset of blue economy. When it comes to strengthening the regulatory framework, it is important at national level to develop policies on maritime special planning, develop relevant taxonomy and frameworks, and invest in the ocean as part of their national determined contributions and coastal resilient plans. When it comes to international level, and this was widely mentioned today, it is important to ratify the High Seas Treaty, a treaty that will bring transparency and inclusiveness in the sense of promoting commercial activities to also developing countries. We see now the stage of ratification. It needs 60 countries, only 13 at present they have ratified. China, EU, and my home country, they have already signed, and hopefully soon will be in the process of ratifying that. When it comes to strengthening international cooperation, it is important to foster collaboration between countries at bilateral and multilateral level, but also with international organizations, financial institutions, and to exchange best practices to promote marine law knowledge. Blue economy also requires blue diplomacy. It's important in all bilateral exchanges, in all our agreements and MOUs, to have high on the agenda and have a place for blue economy provisions. And of course, to further enhance the EU-China Blue Partnership. With this partnership, it's important to improve the cooperation and the international governance of the oceans, to enhance cooperation in ocean data sharing, and to build a strong partnership on the effective implementation of the High Seas Treaty. What is also important is to exchange information and best practices on maritime special planning and create the necessary framework conditions for global financial institutions to focus on sea-related environmentally sustainable investments. When it comes to fostering private and public investments, there is a new code that is gaining momentum, which is blue is a new green. We will observe that blue financing is gaining more and more ground compared to the usual traditional green ESG financing. And this slide is very much indicative on the growth potential of four sectors. If you see the benefit and cost ratio for offshore wind production, sustainable ocean-based food production, decarbonization of international shipping, and conservation and restoration, it's amazing the growth potential and the investment potential of these sectors if you see the benefit and cost ratio. When it comes to capital expenditure, because of the green transition, we will see the oil and gas industry losing share, of course, from 80% that it enjoys now. The forecast in 2050 will drop to 25%, having the offshore wind being at least half of the investments. When it comes to regions, China will increase its capital expenditure on blue economy from 10 to 16, whereas a gradual increase is observed in the EU, in Europe from 11 to 14%. Here I'm presenting a list of guidelines and principles developed by the UN, by the International Finance Corporation, the ICMA guidance, and of course the ADB framework, which are essential to provide useful information to facilitate blue investments. And as I mentioned before, blue bonds today are where green bonds were 10 years ago. We have to get all the relevant sectors to become familiar and provide guidance from various industry to continue to produce, refine, and update the guidelines and all the guidance on blue financing. We need also to build a strong narrative, how to promote the blue economy elements of a fund or adding a blue economy component on an existing portfolio. Building blue economy mindset culture is extremely important. We have to raise awareness among the stakeholders, promote education and skill development, and encourage research and development. When it comes now to the EU, here you see the 10 most promising and priority sectors on the EU blue economy. The EU blue economy, which is growing fast, affecting worldwide investments, and it is important to highlight that 50% of the current investors in blue economy are coming from outside Europe, which is a sign of trust and a sign that the EU blue economy incentivizes non-EU investors to invest in Europe. When it comes to the three most dynamic sectors in terms of investment deal activities, we do have the blue renewable energy, the blue technology and ocean observation, and aquaculture. And about the total number of investment deals and the volume created, it is very important and impressive to observe that it's been tripled the last decade. A cross-cutting tool, of course, on the promotion of blue technology is the maritime special planning. The EU has a legislative framework in place, the relevant directive, and out of the 22 coastal maritime regions, maritime countries, 20 have already adopted this maritime special plan. And coming to my home country, Cyprus, you see the Cyprus Maritime Special Plan, which covers around 98,000 square meters of exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. The relevant priority sectors are presented in this slide. The legal framework, it provides transparency, predictability, and clear licensing rules, fast and flexible licensing procedures. Once you submit your application, it will not take more than 6 months to get the license, and you get a certificate of compliance for existing activities, or for new activities, certificate of compatibility. Finally, I would like to close with a quote from Jean-Michel Cousteau: "We are all connected to the ocean. Without healthy oceans, no life, not even on land, can exist." Let's work together, not only to protect and secure healthy oceans, but to make the oceans a tool for prosperity and economic development of our nations. Thank you very much for your attention.